joined by Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection, the Michelle here to help us talk about great information. And today we're taking a look at a new area, not so new out there, but new in that I don't know if we've actually touched on this subject, but it has to do with, do you really own the digital items? Very interesting. First off, how you doing?
I'm great. It's May, and that's exciting.
It is May. It's very nice to have some nice weather. It's been kind of a weird spring, but that's spring in Wisconsin.
That's exactly right.
And as we look at thinking of the digital age and things, it's definitely a different era when it comes to purchasing things and knowing do you own it, do you not. I first just think of like a company that sells photos or images or things that you might want to use on your own website or your own thing. And how the heck do you really know?
Exactly. I mean, this is really a message of a buyer beware.
Yeah.
Think video games. I remember buying them for my husband, my nephew for Christmas, and you'd buy the cartridge, you'd stick it in, you own the video game. But now you buy the license to use the game and go download it, and so you don't actually have it with you. Books, songs, movies, all of that. We were talking before art. You know, art can be a digital item, and so there's a really big difference between owning a digital item, what is it that you own, versus actually purchasing a physical item, the CD that the music's on, the album that the music's on, and what you can do with that and how long you own that.
Yeah, so where do you even start? Because I think no matter where you're looking at this, how the heck do you figure out the ownership to that specific piece? So we'll stick with the video game as a good example.
Sure.
As mentioned, if you're not buying a cartridge, you're buying that digital asset, how do you know it's yours forever? Not, maybe it's for a month, maybe it's a subscription.
Yeah, I think with this area, it's going to be the basics of consumer protection. Start with the fine print. You're going to need to read the disclosures and understand what you're buying. Just what you said. Are you buying the license so now you can use the product? Are you buying an account so you can go access it? Is it for the one device that you're downloading it to only, or will it be there in your account so if you buy a new device, you're still okay? How do you back it up? So you need to think through these kinds of issues in relation to then what that license or what that fine print says. I mean, in some cases, you might just be getting the digital rights or the digital rights management, the DPM software. And that could prevent a user from using the product in a way that wasn't approved by the user or the creator. Well, that's going to make a really big difference. You know, there are always copyright issues with anything. But, you know, can you play, you have a personal party and you can play your song, but would there be something in this DRM that would prevent you from using the music in the way that you want to because you posted on your social media. Now it's gone public or something.
Boy,
so,
not only did you open up
you
open this up, but you really can open this up big time on how you're using it, and the use of it is kind of interesting. If you're kind of questioning your decision in some of your digital assets currently, because I'm just running through my head like, okay, what do I have that's digital right now that I've purchased that maybe I'm using wrong? Like, how about going back and reviewing, like, oh man, I may have compromised myself by sharing it on social media, or by maybe I gave it to my friend, like, and maybe that's an illegal use.
Or sharing a password, and so now you're sharing
a password.
You buy a
Classic.
CD, I can give it to you to borrow for a week, and you like the song, you listen to it, you decide you want to buy the album. Great, and now I have it back. But if I hand you my password to listen to it, that's something completely different. And you know, you also need to think, do you only have access to that as long as you have an active account? How long are you going to have an active account? What if the people you are getting the service through lose their license with the entity? Do you still have that digital buy? So also, how much are you paying for these things? There's just so many little nuances. Now, digital can be great for so many reasons, and it might be perfect for you, but at the same time, they're just buyer beware things to think through, because I know, you know, my first iPod, not iPhone, iPod that you had, you downloaded the music from your CD, so then you could put it on the device, and it was digital then. But that's a very different world now from that first one.
You're lucky.
I think I just aged myself.
You're lucky that I had an iPod too, so I can recognize now. Yeah, you're right. I mean, think about how that has changed from going from even cassette to CD to this digital. You converted into a digital file, and you used to be able to move it to device, you know, and now you can't even do that. You can't even walk into a store. No, we're not going to go down that path. I think at the end of the day, if you are concerned, or if you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know, Michelle, how I would even begin to comprehend these thinking pieces, where would you suggest people go for those resources? I mean, generally speaking, there's not really, I've searched your website a lot, but making that decision in a digital item, how do you find those resources and just, again, stay protected?
Yeah, so first read the fine print of the item that you want to purchase and think through your situation. The Federal Trade Commission also has some talking points and bullet points for consideration out there, so ftc.gov, that you can look at. As this area grows, and if we see deception or concerns, we'll develop a fact sheet for people as well and have that. It doesn't exist currently because what the FTC has is sufficient for people thinking through, do I buy the physical item or do I get the digital item? And what does that mean for me?
Yeah, I'm thinking it comes down to fair use, which is a whole, like, that in itself, you know, if you're an artist selling something, or if, again, you're paying for, I think of iStock or some of those places where you can buy images, you know, what does that really mean? It's complicated. So definitely do your research. As I said, read the fine print. And if people want to learn more, or maybe they have questions, Michelle, they're like, uh-oh, I may be in the naughty area here. How can they find more information from you guys just to ask those questions?
Yeah, to ask a question, there's certainly, if they feel like they've been misrepresented to in this area, they thought they owned it and now they don't because of a term and condition, call Consumer Protection. File your complaint with us. You can go to the website at datcp.wi.gov or call the hotline 1-800-422-7128.
Wow. Very interesting topic here, kicking things off the month of May. I appreciate the help, and we'll, I'm sure, be talking about this in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Michelle.